Well, Latin America has been facing a fresh wave of tensions. The 19th century Monroe Doctrine has been reawakened as a so-called Donroe Doctrine, and the US is once again pushing for dominance in the Western Hemisphere. Several Latin American governments are in Washington's crosshairs: Mexico, Cuba, Venezuela, and even Colombia. The sitting heads of states in these countries face renewed threats from the US. The war on drugs, oil, and superpower rivalry is escalating in the region. In fact, in the words of President Donald Trump, this hemisphere project is the Donroe Doctrine. It's a revival of the Monroe Doctrine policy of the 19th century that aimed to tighten US influence in Latin America. Under the doctrine, governments loyal to the US remain safe, while the defiant ones face punishments. Nicolas Maduro's capture was a clear reflection of this very strategy. Next in line is said to be Cuba, a country that has been reeling under a Cold War-era trade embargo. The country's economy is being crippled, and the US has even pledged to choke oil supplies to the country. Washington believes that Cuba's communist government will crumble under this renewed pressure. Mexico's government is also on Trump's radar. In an interview with US-based network, President Trump said that he will order land strikes targeting drug cartels, while specifically mentioning that cartels are running in Mexico. The rhetoric, however, calmed down a bit after Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum had a phone call with President Trump. Moving on to Colombia then, the country which once was Washington's closest military ally is now standing on the opposite side. The country's President Gustavo Petro is one of the most vocal voices against Maduro's capture, having termed it a spectacle of death and even compared it to Nazi Germany's actions. However, a hastily arranged phone call with President Trump has reduced tensions for now. But one thing is clear, that Donald Trump is redrawing the lines for cooperation, compliance, or even defiance will determine Washington's approach in Latin America as the Donroe policy, as it's been called, unfurls itself into the entire Western Hemisphere region.